Welcome to this additional meeting of Council. The meeting will be live streamed and recorded, and the voices and images of those participating in the meeting may be captured as part of this recording. Indigo Shire Council acknowledges the original custodians of these lands. The people of the rivers and the hills have walked these lands for thousands of years, as well as today, and we pay respect to the elders of the past and present. As councillors, we have all taken an oath to carry out our duties in the best interests of the people of Indigo Shire and to do this in a fair and impartial manner. We're all committed to exercising the council's powers and functions to the best of our skills and judgment. CEO, do we have any apologies or leaves of absence?
Thank you, Mayor Price. We have apologies from Sally Rice, Director, who's on leave. We also have an apology from Councillor Greg Burke, who's also away on leave. Do you want me to announce the other one as well? And Councillor, we've also had a request from Councillor Horn that she attend the meeting by electronic means. So she's provided me that request in the required 4 hours prior to the meeting. And so I'm looking towards Council to if that can approve her attendance by electronic means, please. So we need to move in a second.
So can we please have a motion, councillors, to accept her attendance by electronic means? Moved by Councillor Harvey, seconded by Councillor Shepherd. Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. So Councillor Horn will now be permitted to attend the meeting by electronic means. The governance rules do say that we shouldn't reasonably refuse a councillor to attend, and I think that we would all agree with that position, that we would like as many councillors as possible to be able to participate in any of our meetings. Thank you for the note of the apologies and leaves of absence, CEO. We'll now move to item 4, declarations of conflict of interest. Councillor Shepherd.
Yes, I have a general conflict of interest with this item, which the whole council meeting really, which it's only one item, as I have a family member on the BCEYLC board. So I will absent myself and don't need to be here for the closure.
So thank you, Councillor Shepherd. I think it's important to note that the reason you might begin the meeting with us is that because the attendance at meetings is recorded, given that there's only one item on this agenda, that's the only thing that limits you from attending the meeting. So your attendance has now been recorded. I'll now move to item 5, community and economic development. And as we've only got the one item, I'll wait for Councillor Shepherd to exit the room. Item 5.1 is Beechworth Childcare and Kindergarten Centre expression of interest. The recommendation is that Council 1 notes that after the withdrawal of Alpine Children's Services from the expression of interest on the 29th of April 2025, the process has failed to provide an acceptable proposal that is suitable and aligned to the intent of the EOI or meets the need of the broader community interests and expectations, and therefore terminates the EOI process for the Mayday Hills Beechworth Childcare and Kindergarten Centre. 2, delegates authority to the CEO to engage with the current occupants of the Mayday Hills Beechworth Childcare and Kindergarten Centre to explore the possibility of both parties occupying parts of the site under new and separate lease arrangements. And 3, delegates authority to the CEO to extend the current occupancy arrangements with both Beechworth Community Early Years Learning Centre and Beechworth Kindergarten on a month-by-month basis until a new lease or leases for occupancy of the site is negotiated. Can I have somebody to move that motion? Moved Councillor Landells, seconded Councillor Dowsley. Councillor Landells.
Thanks, Mayor. We can all be experts in hindsight, and this is an opportunity to be informed by hindsight to make a sound long-term decision that meets the broader early childhood goals here in Beechworth. It is appropriate that we officially terminate the expression of interest process for the Mayday Hills Beechworth Childcare and Kindergarten Centre. I'd like to acknowledge the enormous interest that this matter has generated in the Beechworth community and the fact that our governance rules don't allow for an open forum at this particular additional meeting. And obviously there's a bigger discussion to be had here, and I look forward to having this item come before our next council meeting at the end of July.
Thank you, Councillor Landells. Councillor Dowsley, would you like to speak as seconder?
I would, thank you.
I'm wholly satisfied that the EOI process itself was run according to our procurement policies and was a fair, equitable and reasonable process. I was and still remain satisfied that the preferred applicant would have achieved the objectives of the EOI process. However, I do agree that this process has caused distress to many people, those that supported the council's decision and those that support both existing tenants. However, with the unusual circumstances we now find ourselves with the withdrawal of the preferred applicant, I agree that an outcome cannot be achieved within the context of the current EOI process and it should now be dissolved. I look forward to resolving this lease renewal as soon as possible. I do agree that it's taken too long and we need to provide long-term certainty for the community as soon as possible.
Thank you, Councillor Dowsley. Would any other councillor like to speak to the motion? Councillor Harvey.
Yes, I would like to support this motion because I believe that after a long and protracted process, and it achieves an outcome which is fair to both parties. Thank you.
Councillor Horn.
Yes, this has been quite a trial in lots of different ways, and this is the next positive step in coming to a resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Horn. I'd echo the comments of my fellow councillors. I think you can hear we're being quite limited in our discussion. The larger part of this discussion will proceed at a future council meeting. Today, we are winding up the EOI process. I agree with Councillor Dowsley. I am satisfied that that process was robust, that it was an appropriate process that followed all of our procedures and guidelines, and I think it has been tested to that effect as well. But now I think this is the appropriate step to terminate that process and move to the next stage. So those are all the comments I have to make on that today. And similarly about the open forum, we're happy to entertain your questions at the next meeting as they're not in line with the additional meeting today. I'll now go back to you, Councillor Landells. Would you like to sum up?
Thank you. Not a whole lot more to add. I think it's just, I think discussions we've had at council level and certainly with council staff indicate that we're very keen to move this. When we come to the next meeting, we're keen to move the process along and try to reach a formal resolution, I guess, and without any undue delay. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Landells. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. As this is the only item that is on the agenda today, I will now declare the meeting closed at 2:11 p.m. with the next council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, the 29th of July 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you.